An edited version of the much-discussed Amazon headquarters pitch from Colorado was released this week. Touting the best Colorado has to offer from nature to the vibrant economy, the Metro Denver Economic Development Corporation prepared a document that was short and sweet at just 23 pages, not including the appendix. Eric, there's been a lot of discussion about the secretive nature of this and people referencing laws, that there's non-disclosure agreements, yet other states have put out all couple hundred pages of what they've offered. Does it seem to you that maybe the Colorado officials need to go through this officially to say, oh, yes, we would love a huge headquarters, but maybe their heart's not in it?
No, I'm not sure I buy that. I think when you're talking about the political and civic leadership, the Chamber of Commerce, et cetera, of the state, I think their heart is in it. I think they're realistic that our prospects are limited, but Denver is in the game. Whether that's a 5% chance or an 8% chance or a 10% chance, I suspect it's somewhere in there. If I was in Vegas, you'd probably need to offer me 20-to-1 odds. I don't think I'd take it at 10-to-1. But I don't know of any city that is a prohibitive front runner. I happened to be down at the Chamber yesterday for an unrelated meeting when this press conference was going on. And then reading about the press conference after the fact, it struck me as completely much ado about nothing. I mean, this thing was so redacted. All the relevant information here, whether we're talking about sites or whether we're talking about the value of the incentives that are being put on the table, was left out. So all you really had was happy talk, and some of the happy talk, somebody was quoted as talking about how Amazon would ignite our economy. I mean, I look around and the economy has plenty of ignition as it is right now, or talking about how Amazon would be such a contributor to dealing with our affordable housing crisis. I look at all these people with $100,000 jobs moving in, and how is that going to help affordable housing around, or in gentrification and everything else around here? As we've talked before, Dominic, and I'll wrap it up, there's this incredible disconnect between elite opinion here and person on the street opinion. I think a whole lot of people would be more than happy if this honor was bestowed somewhere else.
You made some great points there. My favorite on that list was, if Amazon headquarters show up, we might be inspired to even build more light rail. That is assuming, they own Amazon line, and seeing how our light rail is going, I'm not sure if they'd want one. Penn, you've been on the inside of situations like this. You know how it goes when officials are trying to get business when it needs, and also gauging if it's the right thing for the economy. From what you've seen, is this par for the course? Is Colorado, are the officials on the right track?
I think they're on the right track. I think this is par for the course. When you're in that position, you never know how the economy is going to shake out 2, 5, 10 years down the road. So if you have an opportunity to get a plum deal like this, you go after it. The reason we saw a redacted version, quite frankly, I think goes to Eric's very last point. I think this disconnect persists between sort of the business political elites and those of us walking around on the streets every day. And I think they were scared half to death to let people see what they were willing to offer Amazon to get them to come here. Other places that don't have quite the booming economy we do, that don't have it quite as good, were happy to say everything they were doing because they want the whole world to know how badly they want Amazon, and they want Amazon to know they want the whole world to know how badly they want them. I think Colorado wants Amazon, but I think Colorado, in all honesty, you probably got some business leaders who are thinking, man, if we get this, how are we going to make all this work? It's not going to be 50,000 people right away. It's going to happen over 10 years or so. But still, given the road congestion and other issues we have, and Tabor, and the fact that we can't get voters to approve funding for transportation, and a host of other things, I bet there's some concern.
Patty, at 23 pages, is brevity a good strategy?
Well, when you have an appendix that's, 50 or 60 more pages, it kind of takes care of it. It was a good strategy because, Tucson sent us Saguaro, and we had a nice little tidy box. I think at a certain point, with the hundreds of applications Amazon got, they had to be happy to have something a little compact. There were two reasons given, and the press obviously went after this. They wanted to find out what was in the package. In one case, they were talking about the 8 or 12 sites that are specifically laid out as possible locations for the headquarters. That would be a problem with other people who might look into that property, and so that was supposed to be confidential business issues. But they used completely different reasons to not give out the incentives, and I think those are pretty bogus reasons that we will be hearing about as more media outlets try to get the information. Penn is right. People are mad. If you look at the comments that have come in about wooing Amazon, They don't want the state to pay more people to come here. If people come here, as many of us came here because we just love it, fine. But you don't pay people to come.
Craig, we're tight on time. We'll wrap it up for us.
Well, speaking of media outlets, you really should listen to KNUS 710 on your dial, because Walker Stapleton was on my show saying that he had good information that the prime Amazon site is the Elitch's location. Oh my gosh, can you imagine I-25 with that going on? And then Dan Kaplan said, as an incentive, we should rename DIA, say, if you come, we will name an Amazon International Airport. And Peter Boyles went wild on that, said, that's the stupidest idea, because the last thing we need are 50,000 lefties moving here for Amazon. So that's what talk radio is all about.